Are Seiko gonna bring out a new SKX? Should you buy a Pagani design watch? And what's the best watch if you're an astronaut? Let's get into it! Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector Show. Today, I'm gonna do a bit of Q&A, like those serious watch review shows, you know? I asked for your questions on the community post a week ago. You've done brilliant, and I'm gonna try and reply to them. And the first one comes from... It's a bit boring, this, isn't it? Fancy a walk. Yeah, that's better, isn't it? So, My Retro Watches, shout out to Michael, says, what made you start a YouTube channel and what do you like more, watches or making music? I have to admit that my love for music has waned a little in the last 3 or 4 years. I'm getting old and the thought of me ever being a successful artist now is probably long gone. I still like recording and I still like creating, so that's not going to change. In fact, look out because there's new music coming. But what I love about YouTube is I can plan a show, I can record a show, produce, edit the show, and I can publish the show. I don't need anyone else to help me with this. Yes, I was rubbish at the start, and I've really tried to hone my craft, as they say, but I'm so glad I started YouTube because it's opened my creativity 10 out of 10. DXNNIX asks, how long on average do you spend putting a show together? Looks like a great deal of time with all the editing. Yeah, you're right. I'd probably say on average it takes about 6 hours to make a show. Planning, filming, editing, and all the search engine optimization that goes on with that. But the funny thing is, I love it. I've tried to make shows I would watch, and if you want to watch it too, well, that's a bonus. The fact that watch companies around the world are asking me to review their watches now makes me proud of what I've achieved over the last 3-4 years. Den LFC 123 asks, do you think Seiko will ever release a true SKX replacement or revamp? Good question. Well, we all know that Seiko love a reissue, they love a birthday, and in 2026 will mark the 30th anniversary of the SKX that was released in 1996. And I believe 100% that the company will bring out an SKX limited edition. Yes, it will be limited edition. It will be a Prospex diver, but I believe it will have the sapphire, the upgraded movement that we wanted. It will be an ISO certified diver. And is it something that I would buy? Yes, because I like an anniversary as well, you know. GoHabs365 says you can only keep one Casio and one Seiko. Which would you choose? Wow. It would probably have to be my Casio Tron reissue that I recently purchased. It's very hard to come by now. I think they were sold out within minutes in the UK. And when it comes to Seiko, well, I do love my Willard, my SPB 153, but my SPB 411, the Navigator Timer reissue, that would be quite hard to find as well. So it would be that watch. Even though the Willard, my SPB 153, is my favourite Seiko. Mark Bonfiglio says, do you prefer new or used watches? And I've got to be honest, it's probably new. I do like new. I like putting my own news stories on a watch. However, I do love the idea of owning a vintage watch that is over 60, 70 years old, particularly military watches, you know, watches that have seen battles, seen a bit more of life than what I have, you know. I have bought used watches on the likes of eBay before. It's just that when it comes to used watches, you've just got to do a bit more research. Research the seller. And if you do that well, you're going to get yourself a bargain. Oh, this is a juicy one from Andrew J. Milner. I am relatively new to your channel, so you may have already answered this. Would you buy a Pagani design watch? For myself, Andrew, no, I wouldn't buy a Pagani design watch, nor a San Martin, Adiz dive, Steel dive, and I know bang for buck they make fantastic watches, most of them, nor do I have anything against of AliExpress, you know, unless, you know, try and taking a watch back. My problem comes when a watch brand completely copies a watch from a successful brand just to make money. They copy the looks, the design, slap their badge on it, and seem to be able to get away with it. I reviewed a Longines GMT diver not long ago, right? Very distinctive, green dial, gold accents, and you never guess what? San Martin have made it as well. It's so cheeky. These kind of watches are great for the beginner watch enthusiast, maybe buying your first automatic watch, or first diver, first field watch, first dress watch. There's going to be many people in the chat go, MWC, we can't afford a Rolex Submariner. We can't afford a Seiko. Seiko, but we like the looks. But you guys are missing a whole range, millions of other watches out there that may be inspired by the Rolex Submariner, inspired by the Willard, but are their own thing, you know? Watch collecting is very personal, and I respect everyone's opinions when it comes to choosing the watches they want. I'm just not gonna get one, all right?
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
8 Ball Slim asks, what do you think about JDM Seikos? Truly collectible or just fanboy flex? JDM stands for Japanese Domestic Market. There are certain watches and references that are actually made in Japan and some that are made in Taiwan or Thailand. And some people think that the best watches that Seiko do are the ones that are made in Japan. Having handled many Seikos in my time, JDM and non-JDM, it's merely bragging rights to own. There's no difference between either product, and to be fair, it would be a pretty poor move if Seiko were to do that. Just think how big their business is outside of Japan. Yes, we'd all love our Seiko watches to be made in Japan, but financially for their company, it doesn't seem viable to do it all the time. Hey, costume change, available in the merch shop. Basic WR asks, what watch would you be wearing if you were an astronaut heading off to the moon? Well, the purist in me would definitely say a Speedmaster, or a mechanical watch, maybe a Seiko Pogue. But deep down, it's got to be a G-Shock, hasn't it? It's got to be a solar-powered G-Shock. G-Shock has been to space many times, has been relied upon year after year. I'm sure I'd like to wear a Speedmaster, but deep down, it's got to be a mighty G. My God, this is a hard one from Ninja Rose 1653. If you could only pick 6 watches for the rest of your life, what would they be? The only rule is they have to be all attainable for you. You probably already own them. Honestly, I think I do. Gotta be a Vertex. I need a Vertex in there. Probably the M100. Gotta have a Seiko. Do love my Seikos. The Navigator Timer and the Willard SPB 153. Those 2 will be staying. 3 out the way. Oh God, we gotta have a Tudor Black Bay 58 in there, haven't we? Do I pick the blue? Do I pick the OG? Oh God. I'll pick the OG, all right? Next up, I've got to have a G-Shock. Probably my DW5040, my favourite one. And that leaves one more. You're having a laugh. Well, it would probably be my CWC Royal Navy Diver. Oh, why have you done this to me?
Yeah, hang on. Yeah, oof.
Francis Comtois 7777 says, would you ever consider presenting on other subjects? I find your presentation style very interesting. Well, thank you very much, my friend. It's definitely something I've considered, doing another channel on another subject. The only problem, a bit ironic really, is time. I just don't have the time to do it. Maybe in the future, when I'm doing a little bit less of my day job, then maybe. But I'm always up for a new presenting role. This is a good one from Oldin Selimovic 4156. Says, what can I buy for my first serious watch in a range of £300 to £400? Some automatic watch, if possible, and on stainless steel bracelet. Well, listen, what I would tell you is, personally, I would go Seiko for my first serious watch. I'd also go Prospex, a professional sports watch. And right now on Francis & Gay's website, you have this, Samurai. This is a beauty. It's £299. It's £100 off right now. That is a phenomenal watch that, even though it's 44mm in diameter, it does not feel it on the wrist. The Seiko Samurai is the watch I go for, my friend. Back! Feeling good, feeling refreshed. That was a bit different, wasn't it? Thank you to everyone that gave me a question on the community post. Sorry I couldn't reply to them all, but I would have been here all day. If you want to see more of the Mad Watch Collector, why don't you click there and join? Show a bit of support, would you? But if I've got you for a few more minutes, why don't you click this one? Oh, this is phenomenal. One of my favourites, and it's a watch, isn't it? Go on, click it. You'll love it. Click it.